NBA season is back. I can't wait for the NBA season to start. It's been great watching the off season going ahead and seeing all the sort of rumours around, are we getting into trouble with Harden, seeing the trade rumours and all that. It's finally come round, and hopefully we'll see a Sixers team get past the second round of the playoffs. So, NBA is back tonight. We're starting on TNT, which is fantastic, you know, against our favourite team, arch rivals, Boston Celtics. So many Celtics fans in the UK, so it'll be great to beat them. Some of them are good lads, you know, I speak to them on social media and it is good banter. It's nice to see the game growing here in the UK, and there's a lot more Sixers fans as well. When I first started watching the Sixers, when I first started watching the Sixers in 2007 and 8, hardcorely, there was not many, and there definitely wasn't many during the Bynum and then process era, you know, there wasn't many. So, but social media wasn't really a big push then for like that sort of thing. But when it was, there wasn't many of us at all. But anyway, the Eagles are 6-0. The Phillies are in the playoffs. So tonight there's going to be a lot of people watching two screens. I'm going to have the Phillies on one side and the Sixers on the other, because I love TNT and I love my Sixers. So I will have that on as well. But I will have Wheeler hopefully getting the dub for us there in San Diego on one screen as well. So with the video today, I want to do a prediction on the regular season, you know, Sixers specifically, and then moving into the actual league. So my Sixers prediction for the season, I think most improved player will be Maxey, without saying, and that will also be my pick for the whole league. MVP of the team will be Embiid. Embiid also be my pick for the league, and I think the surprise player for us will be Melton. I think he'll be the one that potentially is going to be the best pickup of the offseason. Everyone's going to talk about Tucker, everyone's going to talk about Harrell. They're both obviously solid players, vets. You know, I love that we got a decent backup centre for Embiid. I love that we got a gritty player that can play on the wing and can nail free, spot up free, and will get stuck in with the grind of the NBA. You know, 70, 80 game seasons. Well, 70 to 80 games that you expect from a regular. So, with regards to the predictions for the league, I'm going to say Eastern Conference winners will be us. Western Conference winners, I think, is going to be Dallas Mavericks. I don't know if they're going to get necessarily out the West and get to the finals, but I think they're going to have a good regular season. So my coach of the year will probably be Jason Kidd. Wanted to be Doc Rivers, obviously, but I don't think he'll get it. I think Jason Kidd will, because they have the bigger leap in the column of wins and losses. So yeah, I'll go for him. Rookie of the year, I think, will be... It's a tough one, because I initially thought it was going to be Shet. But then obviously his injury meant that, you know, he wasn't going to get much, you know, he's not going to get any, well, he's out for the season actually, so I don't even know why I'm thinking that. But I think you got to look at the Houston Rockets and go, Jabari Smith probably going to be the one, probably going to get a lot of game time. And they're not a very good team, but I think they will have improvement, and he will be one of the stars of that team. So I could be wrong. And assume that the Rockets are going to be really bad. I think they might be better. You know, when I look at their roster, you know, they've made a few, you know, added a few players, but you know, I don't imagine it'll be too much with there. So I'm going to go with what I think is going to happen this season in more detail with the Sixers. So with the Sixers, I really do think that we've made the right signings and we've got the right pieces in place. Now we just need to stay injury free. If we can stay injury free, I think we can really push on and win the Eastern Conference, get that first round bye and second round bye. First round home court advantage and second round home court advantage. Really then look to give Embiid different, you know, manage his minutes as we do. And I think then there's going to be an early trade. I really do think that, as much as I think Harris has now adapted to playing with Harden and knowing his role a bit more, which he showed in the playoffs, I think that, you know, Harris will probably get moved. I'd like to think we've had conversations with him and look to keep him next season. Because, you know, if we keep him, but he gets like, I don't know, realistically, I'd like several million off of his contract per year. But if he said, I'll come back, you know, for £4 or £5 million less a year, I would like that. I think he's a really solid player. Obviously, you've got to think about Maxey's contract coming up as well. But if we could get him for, you know, 3 years, 4 or 5 million on average, less than what he's on now. That would be great. Maybe a bit more. Maybe he would take more. I don't know. But yeah, Embiid obviously is the key factor here with Harden and with Maxey, and Harris is kind of that fourth wheel. But I really do think that he'll get moved with another player for not potentially a player that's better than Harris in the sense of overall game, like, one-on-one ability, but I think someone that will play a role a bit better and suit the role better for the team that we've built. The team is built around Maxey, Harden and Embiid, and I think that he could potentially get someone that's slightly better defender and slightly better scorer, but someone that won't necessarily have the IQ of Harris. I think Harris has got a good basketball IQ, and I think that we'll throw in someone and get away someone. We might throw in a Shake, for example, who I don't mind. I don't think he's super good. I don't think he's bad. For someone that's probably not that great and probably not going to play. So it just kind of sweetens the deal. But yeah, I think that's going to happen around Christmas time. I think we're going to do a trade to improve things. That's kind of my predictions for that. I think for tonight, I'm going to go with a Sixers win. I think Embiid is going to do his thing, but I think the Chevrolet Player of the Day, I don't know if it's still Chevy doing the player of the day on NBC, but I think it will be Maxey. Maxey will be the player. I think this season's going to have a breakout. He's going to be an MVP this year. That's my big bold prediction. He is going to have that step up, and everyone going to be talking about him like they did Ja Morant. I'm not saying he's as good as Ja Morant offensively. I mean, defensively he's better than Ja, but offensively, obviously he hasn't. He's not a dunking. Ja is a great dunker, flashy person. His shooting's okay, but I'm not saying it from that. So I'm saying like the hype around of like this young kid's making a massive step up in year 3, and that's going to be the same for Tyrese. The biggest concern for me will be how we utilise Embiid. He needs to play a lot of games to win the MVP, which he wants to do, but we also need to make sure he's rested. Same with Harden. I've said in previous videos and all across social media, I think Harden's going to be better than what he was last year, and he was still good last year. So for me, the most important cog is going to be the rotation and how we manage that. And I think having House, Melton, I don't know how he's going to play it, but obviously I assume Milton, and I also assume obviously Montel will come on for Embiid. And then it's whether it's going to be Furkan. It probably will be because we got rid of Joe, which was disappointing. That would probably be my guess as and Feibel. But I think it's going to be a tough ask to how he's going to spread those up. But you got to make sure you got the right balance. You can't have, Shake's not a very good defender, so you don't want to have him out there exposed. But then you don't want to have too many defensive-minded things. So it's because Furkan, if he's not hitting, it's going to be tough as well. So Sixers are going to win tonight by 8 to 9 points. We'll get to see a bit of the rotation. Obviously, the first several games, you're normally feeling it out. So I expect quite a lot of rotation players getting minutes tonight to see how they feel, see how Doc wants to build up his lineup for the rest of the year. Potentially, you could see a breakout game from one of the bench guys, and they might get some more time going forward. But generally, I think it's going to be a high rotation for the first few games. So I don't think there's going to be any blowout wins. It's going to be all like sort of single-digit wins for the Sixers, starting off with a nice win tonight in Boston. Enjoy the evening. Wheeler is going to get that win for us for Phillies. The Eagles are on bye week, so we can just relax and watch the Sixers and the Phillies all week, and the Flyers if you're in that. All three are on TV tonight. But yeah, Sixers and Phillies tonight, both going to come away with a dub. I'm going to bet on the Sixers, like I said, minus 7.5. I'm going to go Phillies outright. Wheeler with the win. Thank you very much. Let's go Phillies. Ring the bell. Here they come. Philly United. I don't know what the hashtag is this year. Let's go Sixers.